It's hot. Tea is hot, y'all. Be careful. Welcome to the live. Welcome to the live, y'all. It's 9:30 p.m. So nighttime is tea time for me. And I'm loving it. It's like a new habit that I've recently put in, but hi, it's been a while. Hello, everyone. Nice to have you here or on the replay, wherever you're coming from. It's good to be here. Good to be back. Haven't been on live in a while. I'm kind of like, was back and forth with the live, wanted to do it, didn't know when I could do it, when would the best time be. But I've decided that probably going to be at nighttime and most likely going to be a weekly thing instead of almost a daily thing. So I was doing Monday to Friday before, and now I'm going to do I'm going to hit to do it a few times a week. Might be random, might not. I'll always try and let you know when I come on. But at the very least, just gonna try my best to get on here on a weekly basis, share some thoughts. Hello. Nice to have you here. So yeah, let's talk about the topic for tonight. I want to go slow with this. I don't want to rush because, I think I have something to say. I think it's an important topic, something that's been percolating in my mind, and just a message that I hope resonates with you, and I hope you take to heart in some way and start to do the work, whatever that means to you, whatever that looks like. Okay, so let's do it. So today, I wanted to talk about how you are replaceable. And you're probably wondering, Jean, did you mean irreplaceable? I'm like, no, I meant replaceable. Wow, that's not very encouraging. I thought you typically have an encouraging word, an encouraging message. And I do. Just let me finish, okay? Just let me finish. So a bit of backstory on why I thought that, what inspired this talk, what inspired kind of me to share this message. I recently sat down with somebody who is in the robotics world, works with AI, robotics, technology, all that good stuff, and had a really wonderful chat with this person, a really wonderful dialogue about, what the world looks like now, what it's going to look like in the future. And one thing that we talked about was how the world is changing, and there's going to come a time in the future where much of what we do is going to be replaced by AI in some way. It's going to be replaced, hey Michael, by technology. A lot of what we can do, especially some of the tasks that are just repetitive, monotone, redundant, can be replaced by AI. And it was really interesting to talk to somebody who exists in that world and who speaks so strongly about the fact that we are heading into a very different world in the next 10 years. And I didn't bring any stats with me, so if you want to do research for yourself, I recommend you do that. I encourage you to do that. But he was basically saying that there's going to be a percentage of jobs that will be replaced in the next 10 years. A percentage that is high enough that a lot of people are going to be left out in the cold in some way. And I was like, yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree. Right? The world is changing so rapidly, and so many things that in jobs and professions or companies or different things that existed even 20 years ago don't exist today. Right? And that's exciting, that's scary, it's challenging, it's all these things wrapped into a bow. And my conversation with him was enlightening, it was inspiring. It wasn't anything that I don't already know for myself, but it was just a great reminder that if there's anything I want to take out of that talk and bring to this stage or bring to this platform, is that change has come, change is here, and change is on its way. Change is the only constant in this world. Things are changing all the time. And we are at the precipice in our generation of great change, of maybe technological change, whatever that looks like for us. There's always been generations past who have confronted and had to adapt to changes that happened in their times, and there'll be more in the generations to come. But we live in this time where, as this gentleman said, again, if you want to look up stats, I encourage you to do that. But we just had a great conversation about how AI, about robotics, about how technology is going to change the landscape of how we work, what we do, how we interact, how we show up. And we kind of but we kind of touched on the topic of, hey Facebook, We touched on the topic of what that's going to look like for each individual living today and what we can do to confront that change with empowerment, with choice, with a sense of control, knowing that you are, riding the reins, you are steering the driving wheel in this equation. You are the one that needs to take control of your life. Because I primarily on this platform kind of talk about soft skills, mindset, leadership development, developing who you are, making sure you are getting better at communicating every single time, all those different things. He was talking about hard skills, which is building a skill set, building the right tools, building the right know-how, basically relearning, unlearning all those different things that you've learned up until today. And again, it's just an interesting conversation, but it just made me think that, and I've said this before, the world only feels like it's ending for those who are unwilling to change. The path ahead only feels impossible if you are unwilling to change. If you are unwilling to get honest about what needs to be done, how you need to grow, what kind of changes you need to make, who you need to get around, all those different things might need to change for you in order to live the life that you actually want to live. Like I said, if there's anything I wanted to pull from that talk, is that change is here, change is now. And if you're not living the life that you truly want to live, then that probably means you need to get honest, which is what we're doing here today, which is what I do with myself all the time. And we need to ask, what can I do to move forward in my life? So I wanted to leave you with 3 pointers that came to me that I think are going to help you, that definitely help me, things that I'm keeping in mind for myself as I confront change, as I look to build a future that I can be happy with, not just personally for myself and for people I love, but for humanity, for our evolution, for all those different things. The first one is, you need to build the only thing that no one in this world can build, and that is yourself. Again, like I said, I talk a lot about soft skills. I talk a lot about mindset, leadership, communication, and that is what builds you. I was telling this gentleman, if you don't have that, it's going to be very hard for you to build the hard skills, for you to retrain, to unlearn, to relearn, to get out of your comfort zone, to take action. It is so hard to take action. Sorry, I thought that was something in my hair. It is so hard to take action if your mindset isn't in the right place. And part of building you is building that mindset. Part of building you is figuring out who are you, who do you want to be, and what's the gap you need to fill there. It includes mindset, it includes your physical health, your emotional well-being, your mental capacity, your spiritual walk in life, whatever that looks like to you. All those things build you so that you can build your life. Don't underestimate that. It starts with you. Only you are responsible for building the greatest asset in your life, and that is yourself. That is what's up here. No one has access to this. No one can tap into this but you. That is an incredible thing that you own, an incredible asset that you have. But so many of us leave this neglected, leave our body neglected, leave our capabilities neglected. So many of us actually go further than neglect, and we actually tear ourselves down. You're not even neutral and neglecting yourself. You are actively destroying yourself, and that needs to stop. You need to start building, constructing, thinking about who are you? Who do you want to be? Start building the person that you want to be. Because change is going to happen, and your greatest capacity, hey Nadia, your greatest capacity to confront that change is not necessarily all the time the skill sets you have, because that might have to change at different points. It's going to be how you're able to show up, how you're able to handle yourself, your emotional intelligence. When life goes tits up, do you falter because your emotional and mental capacities, resilience is weak? I hope not. I don't want that for you. I don't want that for myself. I know it has been in the past, and that doesn't feel good. Because I know if I had just built enough resilience, enough capacity, enough whatever, then maybe I could have handled that situation better. Now, that doesn't mean to say we beat ourselves up. We just say, I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm going to take this lesson, I'm going to move forward with it. Okay? So that's number one. In order to confront and be empowered in change, we need to build ourselves. Number 2, need to build the right relationships, key relationships in your life. I was thinking about this as it came to me and reflecting on all of the opportunities I have in my life have happened through key relationships. Some major ones. I was able to go to Brazil for a youth exchange because I had a key relationship in my life that vouched for me and that was willing to guide me and open doors for me to do that. And that was an incredible experience. I've been able to start, build, and continue my business because of key relationships in my life, where somebody opened a door that connected me to this person, where I now have the right mentorship, the right relationships, the right coaching in order to help me along this journey. And it doesn't mean it's perfect, but when you fall, do you have someone to pick you up? When you doubt, do you have someone to bring clarity, to give you perspective, to say, hey, I'm kind of viewing this objectively while you're viewing this emotionally. This is what I can see. What are you seeing? That is the greatest aspect. That is the greatest gift that you can get through mentorship. And that comes through relationships. Another aspect of this that I was really thinking about is that the currency of tomorrow is going to come through your network. The currency of tomorrow is going to come through who you get around, who's in your corner, who do you know. If you haven't seen it already, if you don't believe it already, if you haven't seen this play out in your life, it's not about who you know. It's not about what you know. It's about who you know. I think we all know this. We've all heard it. It's like, stop saying this. It's so cliche. It's so overdone, but it's true. Until it ceases to become true, it will no longer be said. But the reason why we say it is because it's true. The wealth you have, the opportunities you have, the fulfillment, the abundance comes through people, comes through the relationships you build, comes through the communities you build. And I was thinking to myself, okay, if the world does become more technologically advanced and AI like booms and like everything we do is supported by technology in some way, there will never be a time where we do not need genuine human contact. I don't care. We are human. We are wired to connect. We can become as tech savvy as we want, but nothing is going to replace genuine human contact. And the one thing that can be replicated is who you are to the relationships in your life, the impact you make in the relationships in your life, the energy you bring, the memories you build, the conversations you have that can't be fabricated, the genuine connections you have, the serendipitous connections you have. You know, when you just meet people and you're like, wow, I really connect, I vibe with you, you're so cool, blah, blah, blah. You can't replicate that. You can't. An AI cannot create that scenario with two human beings. Sometimes it happens organically, sometimes it happens intentionally, but you cannot lose that as technology advances and booms in our lives. And I know many of you who are probably watching, I've met you serendipitously or coincidentally or passing by or who knows, like in some way or form. A lot of the relationships I have right now, I didn't necessarily have years ago. But I'm just open to having relationships and open to developing the right relationships. What right means to you, I don't know. If you want to get healthier, get around healthy people. If you want to be wealthier, get around wealthy people. If you want to be more intentional, get around more intentional people. If you want to be happier, get around happier people. I don't know what that means to you. Like I said, the first step is building you, getting clear on who you want to be, and now surround yourself with people who support that vision. And the third one, which I think is just as important, although not as maybe technical and not as maybe exciting, perhaps, is stay open-minded and stay open-hearted. I think it's so key as change happens, as life happens, as new things come, old things go, as we are challenged to become, as we are challenged to grow, as we are challenged to realign our paradigms, rethink everything we've known, to stay open-minded and stay open-hearted. The worst thing we can do is shut down, shut off, and shut ourselves out. You know, that's not how life happens. That's not how we're supposed to show up. I personally think so. Because when you're willing to embrace life, life will embrace you back. I truly believe that. It will meet you exactly how you're willing to meet it. It's just a matter of you setting the tone for your life and you setting the tone for how you show up. So staying open-hearted, staying open-minded for me also means being kind, holding compassion, being understanding. It's easy to judge, it's easy to misunderstand, it's easy to miscommunicate, it's easy to criticize, it's easy to tear people down, it's easy to be destructive towards other people. That doesn't take any effort at all. It doesn't take any bravery, any effort. It's not noble, it's not kind, and it's unimpressive. To be totally honest, it's unimpressive. I don't like mean people, right? Who does? No one does. No one likes to be around mean people. So I think it's so important to hold compassion for each other, to understand we're all growing, we're all healing, we're all doing our best, and we're all at different stages in life. But as change is happening, if we can just have the open-mindedness and open-heartedness to meet each other where we're at, and that doesn't always mean you interact with people for very much longer. I love a lot of people from afar because I don't want to interact with them, but I love them from afar, and I'm gonna let them do their thing. And if we realign, if we reconnect at some other point, we'll talk about that. But right now, you stay there, I'm gonna stay here, right? Staying open-minded and hearted doesn't mean you lose your boundaries, you say yes to everything, and you just tolerate whatever. But it just means you have the understanding to say, we're both human, we're both in this thing, this wild, weird world that we're living in where change is happening at a breakneck speed and pace. And let's do our best, but let's also recognize that we have humanity, we can look each other in the eye, and we can connect. All right? So let me wrap it up in a bow. Let me summarize a little bit for those of you who skipped to the end or maybe just like to summarize as I do. As I mentioned, change is happening, whether that be through AI, technology, robotics. Maybe your personal life is changing, whether that's in, I don't know, the landscape out there. I don't know what's happening. I try to keep my mindset pretty locked down with all that stuff. Change is always happening. Stuff is always happening. Caca is always hitting the fan in some place or the other. So the best thing we can do is build ourselves so we can show up in our lives, so we can be empowered in the change and not feel disempowered. Build the right relationships so we have the communities to lean on, we have the right perspective to go to, we have the right mentors in our corners who can teach us, who can guide us, who can show us the way. And stay open-minded and open-hearted. Stay kind, stay compassionate. Do not lose your humanity, because I don't think that's meant to be a thing in life where you lose your humanity as you grow older. Honestly, I'm getting softer the older I get because I am just appreciating life so much more and appreciating and valuing every single person that I get to connect to, because it's truly a special experience to be here with you, to be living, to be breathing, to be experiencing everything, the good, bad, and the ugly. It is a rare occurrence for any of us to be here right now as the versions of ourselves that we are. So we got to make the most of it. All right? So I don't know if that resonated. I don't know who's listening. If you are, I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. This message was placed on my heart. I really wanted to share it. I think it's important. Like I said, change is coming, but it's also already here. So this is going to reach the right ears that it needs to. And I hope it inspires you. I hope it challenges you. I hope it motivates you. And if it resonates, leave a comment, like, share, whatever the case may be, whatever you're inspired to do. And like I said, I will be back on a weekly basis on live as I get these messages to share. And I am so excited for all of our growth, all of our becoming. And I love ya. Have a good evening. Ciao. Oh, there we go. I've forgotten how to end it because it's been so long.